Maybe I'll put my plant up here. Does it fit? A little greenery always helps, but that's not working. So we'll put the greenery over here. There we go. Okay, I am hopping on early so that I can try to catch some people on live today. So I hope that you will join me and I hope that you'll see me. Today's topic, I'm just going to run through for those of you that might be seeing this in the recording. I wonder if I'll be able to edit this out. Hopefully I'll be able to edit this out, but if not, in the meantime, check the captions. If you're on here, check the captions and I'll put the timestamps on there so you can go ahead right to the beginning of the live. But for now, I'm just hopping on here early, about 15-20 minutes early, so I can get some people on with me. And if I get enough people on early, then I'll just go ahead and start with the teaching. So today we're going to talk about how to stay in flow when life gets loud, especially during the holidays. So if you're in the US, you'll relate to this very much. Um, and and that is what we're going to be talking about today. I know that many times I get people that are outside of the US, so this could be very relevant to you too, because life does get loud. So these principles that I'll be talking about today are relevant for any time that life gets loud. And what does that mean? I think we're all pretty clear on what that means. External voices telling us how to live our life, negative energy around us that kind of interferes with our vibe and our flow. Um, or it could be other people in the same space carrying a lot of heavy energy or heavy conversation that doesn't do any good for anybody's vibe and presence for happiness and enjoying time together. So, what do we do? How do we stay in flow? So, that is what we're going to be talking about today. So, if you're here early, again, look at the comments and check for the timestamps, and I'm going to make sure I get that in there for you. So I had this fly buzzing around us today, and I was just talking about this recently that when you have a fly that keeps coming around or an insect that keeps coming around, there's actually a spiritual significance to that. They're saying be persistent. If they keep coming by you during a time that you're trying to get certain things accomplished and done, and you're facing some challenges, it's saying be persistent, stick with it, keep going. So I love that this fly is coming into my face right now because it's saying, hey, don't worry, we're on early, people will come on live, people will watch this later, it doesn't matter, it's all going to be good. Just do the thing, do what you're here and what you're meant to be doing right now. So thank you for joining me anytime that you're on with me right now. Okay, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to copy this link and send this out. Fly buzzing in my ear again. So we've got about 15 more minutes and then we'll be at the top of the hour and we'll get into the topic that we have today. In the meantime, if you've just popped in here, let me know where you're coming in from. What side of the world are you on? Are you in the US? Are you planning your holiday gathering for Christmas or Hanukkah? My camera keeps going sideways. I don't know why. See, it keeps tilting like this. Maybe I should put it on Digi. Oh, you're showing my panza. Okay, what did you do? I wasn't paying attention.
Double click this button here.
Oh, okay.
And then move the joystick.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Elvia Maria. So today, I will just remind you of the topic. We are going to be talking about let me see here. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate that. You probably can't hear my music in the background. I have some electric music playing in the background. It's awesome. Okay, so again, if you're chiming in right now, at the time of the uploaded final version of the video, we're going to have captions in there. So right now we just popped on early so that we can have more people join us right now. And when you pop in, whether it's on the recording or right now, we'll get started with the training. And when you pop in, you can look at the captions, or I'm sorry, the description, and check the timestamps, and you can see when did we actually get started. Okay, you can't hear the music. Okay, so I'll just be dancing to my own beat right now. Okay, and per usual, I will have my script here that I'll be referring to for this live so I can stay on point with my teaching for today. And my I don't like using that word, right? Because we all have something to contribute, and this is really what I'm hoping that these lives will turn into, a place that you can contribute what your expression is, like during the times when life gets loud. When life gets loud and you want to stay in flow, people around you are kind of interjecting in your vibe, your happy bubble. Well, thank you. You like my plant. Awesome. But that's what we'll be talking about today. So I hope this helps you no matter where you are in the world. Anywhere in the world, you can use these concepts that I'll be talking about today. But here in the US, we're almost smack in the middle of two very major holidays, um, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Mhm. And I know right about now, of course, we have Hanukkah also um, coming up. And then at the end of December, we have Kwanzaa, Christmas, okay, of course, here in the US, and New Year's. So wherever you are in the world, whatever you're celebrating, this will be applicable for you too. Awesome, awesome. Usually we're getting more people on the live right now when we pop on. So this is kind of unusual, but maybe we'll just be doing the recording today, and that's okay too. So whenever you get this notification, if you're a subscriber to my channel and you get this notification, if you're new to my channel, I do hope that you'll subscribe so that you can get notifications every time we go live. All right. I think my algorithms have changed. This is, but I'm not, but that's okay. That's good. Ooh, here comes that fly again, telling me be persistent. Hang in there. It'll all be okay. Let's see. Is that possible to put text on the screen? Let's see. I don't know. Is it? Let me see. Let me shoot this over to you and see if you can put this in there in the chat for me. That would be great. I just shot that over to you. And if you could put that in the chat for me. I don't know if that's a great idea, actually. So I don't know if the full chat shows for anybody new that's coming on. So if it doesn't, maybe you can pop that in when other people start popping in as well. That would be helpful. So again, today, what Elvia Maria is going to be putting into the chat is the topic for today: how to stay in flow when life gets loud, especially during the holidays. Let's scoot this over a bit. There we go. That's better. So I sent that to you via text, Elvia. All right, we've got about 5 minutes left, and then we're just going to go ahead and start our conversation for today: how to stay in flow when life gets loud, especially during the holidays. Elvia, can you see that topic that I sent you a text for to put into the chat? All right. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get started with the teaching. We may not have anybody. Actually, no, 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 no. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. We've had this out there for a while that we're going to be doing lives on Fridays and Sundays. Fridays, we're going on at noon PST. And on Sundays, we're going live at 10 PST. So make sure you join us every single week on one of those lives. We'll always be talking about speaking to creators, speaking to people that are creators and actively creating. Sometimes you lose your flow too, or maybe you feel so much creativity in you and you haven't been able to really tap into what your creative flow is or what your creativity outlet is. So I'm hoping to guide you into what you feel that you are meant to be doing with your creative juices. And we can get those active and alive and knowing and understanding what your flow is with your creative energy. So, how to stay in flow when life gets loud, especially during the holidays. Here's my here's my little fly friend that keeps coming around me right now again. This fly, if you didn't catch it earlier, there is a spiritual meaning and spiritual significance to a fly that keeps coming around you. Now, pay very special attention every time you have this happen and a fly keeps buzzing around and we start to get super annoyed by that, right? We just want to swat the fly out of the way. But before you swat that fly, I want you to consider something. Are you right now supposed to be doing something and you're procrastinating? You're not taking the steps forward. You just keep thinking about it and you're not taking action, or you're doing it but you're worried. You're doing it within embodying like a lack of confidence or lack of self assuredness if you're doing the right thing. If a pesky little fly starts coming around you when this is going on in your life, that means be persistent. That's what that fly is telling you. It's telling you be persistent because that fly is going to be very persistent. It's going to keep coming around you, buzzing in your ears, buzzing in your hair. That's what that means. So if that happens to you, that's a little tip to stay consistent with what you're thinking up, what you're dreaming up, what you're wanting to act upon, what you're taking steps toward. Stay persistent within that. Little tip. All right. So, how to stay in flow when life gets loud, especially during the holidays. Because the holidays are loud, right? There's a lot going on. There's a lot of hustle and bustle, not just within your own being, because you're thinking about gifts you need to get, shopping you need to do, where are you going to start, who are you going to buy for, how much you're going to spend. A lot of loudness is going on within us sometimes, but then also on the outside, there's loudness on the outside. There's the traffic, there's the people. And then when you get to the family event, there's the people there that you haven't seen in a long time. You're reconnecting and engaging, and all is beautiful until some negative energy pops in, or somebody who's not feeling so great, or is bah humbug, or just has a negative attitude. Bringing that in becomes very loud and a disruptor. So, how do we stay in flow, not only with the things that we want to do, but also how do we stay in flow when we have things that kind of interrupt our pattern, interrupt our natural way of being? So, and I talked a lot about people, but it's not just about mean people either. It's not just about people around you either. We're talking about the energy and the expectations and the pressure to be in 10 different versions of yourself at the same time. That is another element. And this is the element that I really want to tap into today is the self. We're called to be in, we feel the tug, I should say, not called to be, but you feel the tug of being like 10 different versions of yourself. Who am I with grandma? Who am I with mom and dad? Who am I with mentors or significant people in our lives? Who are we with the littles? Who are we when we're just sitting on the side and just like waiting for food or waiting for gifts or waiting for things to happen, waiting for people to show up? Who are we in each of those versions of ourselves? Sometimes we can be our authentic self, but let's be honest, some of us kind of struggle. Okay, I don't know what to do with myself right now, in limbo here. What do I do in this space? So, but if you are anything like me, maybe your intuition has this little whisper within you telling you what you are to be doing, what you are meant to be doing. So you're not exactly sitting there with, what am I supposed to do right now? Maybe you're someone that knows what you should be doing right then in that moment while you're in that waiting period, while you're in the midst of people around you. you know it's a very, very tiny quiet whisper because everything else around you is so loud, right? And so, because it's quiet, because it's gentle, because it's soft, because sometimes it's just a sensation within the body, not a true full thought of what to do. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to stay in flow when everything around you is doing the most. Everything's over the top. Everything is high, everything is moving in constant motion, going here, there, right? And trust me, my intuition has been doing the most too. My being has been doing the most too, even in this travel space, right? Because we want to engage with others that are outside. We want to go where we're invited sometimes, and sometimes we don't want to. Sometimes we want to revert backwards. So even though we are not, as full-time RVers, are not in the hustle bustle of the typical holiday um, time, we still feel it. We still feel it while we're on the road. So we are in kind of a funny season of like two major holidays right now. If you are just jumping on right now, we're in the middle of two major holidays here in the US, right? So today is December 7th. So in the US, we're between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then, of course, we have New Year's. And maybe you're celebrating Hanukkah. Maybe you're celebrating another holiday in another part of the world. And so, if I didn't mention your holiday, please do put it in the comments. What holiday did you just pass, or are in the wings of, that will be coming up for you? Share where you are and what holiday it is that you're facing. One thing that is really good that I do really miss about the holidays and being in the middle of it is all the leftovers that you get in your refrigerator. So we won't be having as many leftovers this year, but we will be targeting our favorite specific foods that we will be getting. Like in the middle of that, you still want to nurture your creative self, nurture your intuitive self, your grounded self. They're in there still. They're still within you, even though everything else around you is getting really loud and you're seeing a lot going on. And then, like I said, maybe a little bit within you is much more than you typically have going on within your own being because of the loudness that's going on around you. Um, or maybe you're someone that's right there in the middle of it, thinking of all the gifts and where you're gonna shop and where you're gonna go. So so when we have these moments of, we get that creative flow going, or we have this grounded self saying, "Hey, come on over and sit over here by yourself and just stare out the window." Or maybe you have that creative burst of making something for someone instead of buying something for someone, right? We have these gentle whispers that pull us away from the norm of that loud activity. And it's kind of like, "Hey, remember me? Don't forget, you really enjoy these things. So bring me into the energy, the holiday energy." And it kind of pulls you back, right? So sometimes those thoughts are these gentle little whispers, and we might damper them or quiet them because of other expectations that are coming through the louder energies. A commercial pops up that you had an idea to make something for someone, but a commercial pops up and you're like, "Oh, maybe they would like that better." Go with what came to you intuitively. This is one thing I want to just say right now, is just to go with what comes to you intuitively. Before we dive in, that was a little nod to just a intuitive thought that I had right now to share with you. But before we dive in, I just want to say that if you're joining live, I'd love for you, as I said, to let me know where you're at, what holiday season is going on around for you. I'm in the US. If you're in a different country, please do share what's happening for you. Um, I'd love to, sending me these comments in here helps me to see you and just express how much I love that you're here. And I really appreciate that you're here. And I love that. So I'll check the comments in waves every once in a while. So leave a message in there. And even after the recording is up, I will go back and read every comment and make a reply back to every comment. I just want to stay in flow with this teaching right now so I can get through all the talking points that I want to share with you. So drop your questions in anytime and I will circle back. But for now, let's just take a moment to just breathe. Just take a deep breath in and holding it at the top and then blowing out. Now, sometimes I have to do that 2 or 3 times. So this is also excellent when you're in the midst of all the loud noise. But right now I'm getting into my teaching, so I'm getting a little excited and ramped up. So if you're with me in that, just take a deep breath in and then release. Right. So when we do that, we release a lot of tension naturally. A lot of tension just gently blows out with our breath, and we can focus back into centering ourselves. So taking that 1 or 2 deep breaths in is so relieving. So the main teaching I have for you right now, and the first point that I want to make is that energy doesn't disappear, it just gets buried. So you may feel some tension, may feel some confusion, you may feel some um, concerning feelings within your body because of a thought that came in. And just because that thought goes away or you dismiss it doesn't necessarily mean that it's completely disappeared. It's just buried. It's just pushed down and buried. And this is what I really want you to pay particular attention to, because this truly, truly is the culprit of so much heaviness that lives and stays within the body. This type of action of burying the thoughts, burying the intuition that you had and the action that you intuitively or creatively came to, when we dismiss it, it doesn't go away from the body. It doesn't just go away. It gets buried down. It gets pushed down. It gets suppressed. So when we suppress, when we hold back from being our natural self, I mean, naturally, do you think that this would be a positive thing for your body? Is it a positive, is it a way of being your authentic true self, right? We know the answer to this. It is not. So suppressing and pushing down, right? Let's talk about that. During the holidays, your energy isn't gone. Even when you get tired or your natural flow of energy, your particular energy, when things get loud around you, it doesn't just disappear. Sometimes we feed off the energy of others around us, but we are still who we are in that moment. So how are we going to express it? So I want to share with you that your energy and who you are and your being, your makeup, your experiences, your beliefs, your creativity, your flow, all of that that you have at at one point in life gets quieted when it gets loud around us, right? It isn't gone, it just gets quieted. It gets covered like under the layers of the noise. All the layers of the noise kind of shush and have our intuition go down to a whisper. And here's all the noise and the chaos going on all around us. And this voice gets quieter and quieter, right? We have the family noise. We have, what are my notes here? We have social noise, emotional noise, right? When someone that has high energy or high emotions and they come into the room of the family event, we know right away, right? We hear it. We hear the emotions and the revving up of the excitement or sometimes fear or sometimes heaviness of someone's presence. And so that emotional noise is felt, seen, and heard, sometimes felt many times before we hear it, right? And then gift wrapping noise. I remember when I was a little girl, my aunt would wait until I came for certain presents to be wrapped. And she would come and get me. "Oh, mija, it's so good to see you," and she'd embrace me, give me this beautiful hug, and then she's like, "Can you come with me and help me wrap presents?" So I'd have to go into another room with my aunt, and we'd go hide in the back, and, "This present's for so and so, can you wrap that with this? And this present's for so and so, and put this bow on that." And that was a lot of noise, right? For me as a young girl, but I also loved the attention from my aunt. I loved the attention from her also, but then I was also pulled away from other people. So that was other external noise. It was a beautiful thing and I embraced it and loved it at the time, but it pulled away from probably what I thought I was going to be doing. And that's okay too. So here's the thing that I'm also trying to share, that there's really nothing wrong, quote unquote wrong, with the external noise, the loud noise that's coming in during the holiday season. There isn't anything wrong with it. It's just a shift, right? And we may or may not have life-changing events that are going on during the season, but we may. Maybe a beautiful presence that we used to have every year for the holidays is no longer with us, and that is felt. That energy is also felt. We as a family are going through that very, very deeply in our family as well, and that is an energy shift as well, right? And so what do we intuitively feel that we really want to bring and share in the holidays or during a time when there's a lot of loud external noise going on? So what I also want to share with you, just checking my notes here, flow returns the moment you remove that first layer of noise, right? And that layer is usually the self pressure. So, what do I mean by that? The noise will still exist, the noise will still come in, what's happening in the background that's like catching your attention and shifting your vibe a little bit or shifting your state of mind a little bit, it will still exist, right? But what can change is your self pressure, your self imposed pressure. So as a little girl, when I felt the pressure to go do what my aunt asked me to do, how can I have shifted that in the moment? Well, actually, I really enjoyed it, but had I been a child that didn't enjoy that, I could have gone in that room and just been like little Miss Snotty Nose and been like, "Ugh, I have to do this again." But actually really enjoyed it. So I didn't choose actually. I just really enjoyed it. I went and I partaked with it and I loved doing it. And usually I was like, "Do you have another one?" But had I been someone that didn't enjoy it, I was choosing to take on that pressure to do what someone else was asking me to do because they wanted me to do. Now, as a child, obviously this is a little bit different, but say you're a 20 something or 30 something and you have someone saying, "Hey, can you come help me wrap these presents?" And it really isn't something that you want to do, right? We feel that pressure and then we can decide, am I going to release this and maybe figure out a creative way to release it and maybe ask to invite someone else or come up with something different. I want to share with you how you can get to the state of shifting that self-imposed pressure because we always have a choice. We want to say that it is someone else's fault that we're feeling this way. We're saying, "Oh, do I have to do this? I guess because they're asking me, what else am I going to do? What else am I going to say?" Right? And so we feel that um, we feel like there's only one answer to this request, and we abide by that. But then, how are we feeling internally? Right. So, another thing that we can do is we can also decide to look at the partaking of that in a different way. We can decide, it isn't what I chose to do, but how can I think about this in a positive way, right? But I really want to help my aunt. I want to help her. So I'll say, okay, I'll do a handful, but then after that, I want to go and mingle with family, right? There's one way. Or we could say, okay, but I'm going to do, in my mind, I may say to myself, but I'm going to do this with joy. How can I do this with joy? Maybe I can put on some Christmas music, or maybe I can invite one of, someone with me that I know can come in with me and help me. Maybe I can make a phone call along with while I'm doing this. So, how do we shift the energy and lift some of that self pressure? So, here's one point that I really want to share with you. Flow isn't something you you get back. So in these moments that you feel that self pressure and you're responding to the self pressure, and we always want to say, I want to get back into flow. So maybe you want to bring flow into this activity. And we're using the gift wrapping example, right? Getting into the flow of gift wrapping. It isn't something that you get back. It's something you stop interrupting. When flow is a part of the way you do things, you allow yourself to carry that flow in. So the examples I gave earlier, like putting on music or bringing in somebody fun or just changing your mindset, those are the things that help to guide you back to flow, back to your flow. So it isn't something you actually get back. You already have it within you, but you're guiding yourself back into that state no matter what the loud noise is that's happening around you. I hope this is making sense. And if this is making sense, give me an example. What is one thing overwhelming that you felt in your energy this week? Drop it in the chat and let me know. What is one thing that was overwhelming your energy this week? So put that in the chat. I'd love to hear what that is, and we can talk about, or I can message back to you in the chat. How can we shift that energy, or what did you do already to shift that energy of overwhelm? All right, so point number two. Point number two is flow loves slowness. I can attest to this 1,000%. Flow loves slowness even when you don't. So you may be a person that just charges in and does the thing and moves quickly. But when we're learning to live and adapt to a state of flow, flow loves slowness. Because when we act on the moving quickly, even though we've been conditioned to do this, and so we think this is the way we do things, is do things quickly, fast, get it done, quickly, fast, get it done. We don't allow our intuitive nature to chime in on what is the healthiest state for us to do this activity in. So we don't allow for that room. We don't allow for that space to allow our intuition and our groundedness to tell us what really is the thing that will help us to do this and execute this with flow. So there are a couple things about flow that I teach in flow state manifesting. Flow state manifesting isn't just about meditating or manifesting, it's about the sequence of things to consider as we're doing an activity, as we're creating, as we're building, as we're writing. How do we do this in a state of flow when the loudness starts coming in? And so I actually have a guide where I teach how to develop that in a way where then flow becomes your natural state of being. So in the example that I gave, It doesn't have to be this conundrum of, oh gosh, I don't want to do that. I want to go over here. If I'm in the state of flow at that age and my aunt came over and said that to me and I didn't want to do it, if I were in flow 100% by practice and it's in my being, in my body, the external loudness won't interrupt that. I will have the fluidity and state of mind to say, okay, I'll be there in just a minute. And maybe go take a deep breath outside until I decide what the next step is going to be, right? So, so flow loves slowness, and intuitively, that first this first suggestion I gave you of pausing and saying, "Okay, I'm gonna I'll be right back. Give me just a minute, and I'll let you know what I can do." That allows that space, right? That's okay. That's the perfect answer when you're not completely 100% sure of what your next um, move would be within the state of flow that you want to maintain. When we're not in flow, we just say, okay, let's go do it. And right away, that feels heavy, right? Right away, I actually felt tension in my neck thinking back on that. Had I been like, oh, okay, and then you just go in and do what they're asking of you instead of taking your time and allowing yourself to digest what's happening. Now, creators creators hate slowing down because when you have that intuitive hunch to do something, you're like, oh, I've got to go do this right now. Right now, I've got to get to my space where I create and do this thing that I'm thinking about. So many creators don't like to slow down because they feel that they're going to lose that creative energy, that creative thought. Because right now, in the heat of the moment, we've got to execute on the thing that we want to do, right? So they don't want to slow down until they're actually able to do it and realize their whole life gets louder in the right way. Creators and manifesting generators, if you're familiar with human design, if not, let me know in the chat and I'll share that with you as well, hate slowing down because until they do it, whatever the activity is that they want to go and do, and realize the whole life gets louder. Your whole life gets louder when you can't go in because all you can think about is that one thing that you want to go and do. So you feel like you have to do it right away, right? All right. So just checking in on my notes here. All right. So, one thing I want to remind you is that as a creator, I want to remind you that slowing down, slowness does not mean inactivity, does not mean that you're not being active or it's inactivity. It means that you're connecting with your alignment. You're connecting with what feels good to you. And that means alignment, connecting with what feels good to you. And then when you express it in a positive, meaningful way, that is true alignment through the lens of love, through the lens of love for self, through the lens of love for others, love for community, whichever one lights you up, love for self, for others, or for community, or impact. This is when we're in alignment, when we know what is best for us in alignment. So the insight that you in this chaos, right, in the loudness around us, the insight you're waiting for has already arrived. Sometimes you're just moving too fast to notice. If you didn't pause, if you didn't slow down, you're receiving that message. It's already arrived, it's already come to you. But when we don't slow down to listen, we don't hear the whisper because all the noise around us makes that whisper get softer and softer and we don't hear it. So, slowing down helps us to reconnect and engage with the alignment so that we have the truest answer for us on how to execute, how to deliver, how to stay in flow in the moment. So the third point I have for you today, the third point is Flow comes from the body, not the mind. Not the mind. I've often have had to catch myself when I say, "Well, let me think about that." And then sometimes I verbally, especially as I was practicing and still practicing to stay in flow, I choose to change my language. So when I say, "Let me think about that," I say, "Well, let me see how I feel. Let me go for a walk and see how I feel. Let me start this and see how I feel." There are so many things that we can do to start connecting with the alignment and seeing what feels right. Sometimes it does take an action step forward into the thing that we're doing and then decide, do I want to take another step? Do I really want to do this? Do I want to stick with this? Or do I want to wait a little bit longer? That's allowed. You can do that. And as a matter of fact, I highly, highly recommend doing that. You have every right to change your mind, pull back and say, maybe not right now, maybe later. I'll get back to you, right? So when we pay attention to the body and allowing that flow to come through the body, then when life gets loud, your mind will want to chase for solutions. But when we slow down, we realize that your body already has the answer, right? And that's the beautiful thing. When your body already has the answer and you take that moment to allow it to surface, allow it to flourish, right? And grow into an actual action step, not just a feeling or a sensation. So flow is a sensation first, clarity second, right? So just noticing the sensation that you take that step forward, and you're like, what does this mean? And then you pause and slow down, and then clarity comes. It's very subtle, very nuanced, but it happens. It happens if you just take your time and allow yourself to take your time. So, half of my breakthroughs show up when I'm not trying. That's the truth. Think back on that. Your true breakthroughs, the truest ones that came through as real breakthroughs, real learning lessons, they were during times that you weren't trying. You let go of an idea. You let time go by. You let yourself take a break and stop resisting the thoughts that were coming into you, right? My my breakthroughs come through most when I'm not even trying. Like like I said, when you pause and step back, just take a breath. But for instance, when I'm in the shower, all kinds of ideas come up. I started keeping my phone closer to me when I'm in the shower so I can take a quick note. And if I don't have my phone, here's another really strong tip. So I want you to listen to this. If you go for a walk or take a shower or do something that usually you get a breakthrough feeling about what to do next, and you forgot your phone, you forgot your notes, just say to yourself, if it is meant to be, I will remember. If it is meant to be, it will come back to me, right? So we release the stress of having to write it down, needing to remember. We let it go. We let it go and allow our higher self to bring it back to our attention. If it is meant to be, it will come back to me. Okay. All right. So, all right. All right. So, the next point I have for you is point number 4. Point number 4. Boundaries are an energetic strategy. This was the best thing I ever learned were how to establish boundaries. Boundaries are an energetic strategy. One of the best ways to stay in flow today, this week, this month, is to give yourself permission to leave conversations, leave rooms, right? Leave the space. You don't have to announce anything. You don't have to say, I'm stepping away, or hey, I'm running to the bathroom. You don't have to say anything. You just leave the space, right? Or or in your mind, say you don't have the wherewithal or the gumption to physically leave, just do it quietly within yourself. Relieve yourself of the expectation of contributing to the conversation. Just stay silent, zone out, go within yourself, right? Leave the space, either mentally or physically. Because not everything deserves access to your nervous system. That is worth repeating. Not everything deserves access to your nervous system. So as soon as you start feeling a visceral response that something feels heavy, doesn't feel in your vibe, doesn't feel like something that you want to carry, you can release it. Did you know that? You do not have to partake. This is a choice that you can make, and others don't need to know about it. It could be quiet, or it can be gently loud, gently executed by removing yourself. Sometimes people don't even notice. We think they're going to, but they're in their own headspace. They're thinking about what they are going through in that moment, and they're in their own nervous system spiral, when it's something that feels negative or heavy. Your peace is not a luxury. Your peace is not a luxury. It's your creative resource. Let that sink in. Your peace is not a luxury. It is your creative resource, right? All right. So let's just take a moment. We're going to slow down, take a breath. I'm going to ask you a question, just something for you to just put in the chat. Tell me in the chat one boundary you want to honor this week. Think of one boundary that you want to honor this week and claim it. Put it in the chat and go ahead and claim it. All right. So closing, while you all are putting that in the chat right now, maybe in the recording, I want to have this closing message for you. This is very important. I'm going to read right from my notes here because this is so important. This is so important. You are not behind. You are not behind. You are not scattered. You're not falling off your path. You're not. You're not falling off your path. You're not scattered and you're not behind. You are recalibrating in a loud season. So if you feel like, or you've had thoughts that you've lost your flow, you've pulled out of your creative mode, why am I not creating anymore right now? This is who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to creators that feel like they're disconnected from their flow or disconnected from their creativity. You're not behind. You're not scattered. You're not falling off your path. You're recalibrating in a very loud season. And it is just a season. It is just a season. And it's normal. It's beautiful. It's expected. It's normal. And it's human. It is so human. What you're experiencing right now in a loud season is so human. It is a part of the human experience. This is what we're here for, to go through these times of challenge, to recalibrate and discover, where am I? What is my essence? Who am I in moments like this? And who am I outside of moments? Why am I different in this space versus this space? We're recalibrating, we're recognizing and noticing who we are when we are where we are. Okay. Flow isn't something outside of you. It's who you are beneath the noise. Flow is isn't something that is outside of you. It is who you are beneath the noise, beneath the noise. So every time you breathe, slow down, or just let yourself be, every time you breathe or slow down or just let yourself be, you come back home again and you can feel that. So it just takes a moment to just take a deep breath in and breath out, and you're back home within your body, and you're bringing attention back within the core of your being, of who you are. So, if today's live helped you to reconnect with yourself, come join me on Friday where we will be talking about in the same category. We'll be talking about the same topic, speaking to you creators that are wanting to get back into your flow, discover what your flow is, know how to tap right back into your flow every time you need to. I'd love to teach you about flow state manifesting. Every Friday or Sunday, I will be talking about small elements within flow state manifesting, and you can learn more and more about flow state manifesting during these lives. And this is also an opportunity for you to ask questions and reconnect and re-engage with the things that are concerning you. So hopefully I bring you topics that will help you remember what are the times that I feel disconnected and what are the questions that I can bring to these lives. So during the holiday season, if you're watching this at any point and you this speaks to you, leave a comment in the chat, and I promise you I will get back to them and I can answer that. Um, in the meantime, I want you to know that we are building, I'm trying my very best to really build a corner in this loud internet space that is a place for calm. It is a place for creators and intuitives that want a different way of being within this loud world, sometimes very loud world. And so if you're searching for a home as a creator or an intuitive where you can express your creative energy verbally or just in being with each other, I want you to know that this is a home for you to be able to do that. So every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern, and Sunday, 10 a.m. or 12 p.m. PST, or 10 a.m. PST on Sunday. So if you want to go deeper in staying in flow, I want you to grab my free flow state manifesting guide. And you'll see the link in the comments. You'll see the link on my pages, Facebook and Instagram, and even LinkedIn. I'd love to have you there. So if you want to learn more about flow state manifesting, go ahead and grab that. It is free. And then if you would like to chat more here, leave a comment here, and I'll be happy to follow up with you on that as well. So thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to hearing more about you and learning more about what space you're in right now. And thank you so much for joining, and have a wonderful day. Bye bye.